Hi, I'm Perry Atkinson, General Manager here at theDove. Hey, check out our other videos and check out our website at thedove.us. Welcome back. Well, as you know, there's an election cycle going on, and coming up in May is Oregon's primary. And there are several people vying for the Republican nomination to run against U.S. Senator Jeff Merkley. One of the candidates is Dr. Monica Wehby. She's a Republican Senate candidate. She's also a practicing pediatrics neurosurgeon. So why would she give up years and years and years of training to become a pediatrics neurosurgeon to run for the U.S. Senate? Well, let's learn that together as we talk to Monica. Well, today we are delighted to have with us senatorial candidate Dr. Monica Wehby. She is running for the U.S. Senate against Jeff Merkley. And as you know, this is a big race in the state of Oregon, and it looks like the Republicans could take it. And that would be a nice, refreshing change, to say the least.
That would be a very change.
So, Dr. Wehby, nice to have you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you this morning?
Great. Just doing fine.
The sun's shining for a change. We got to take that for granted, huh?
Yeah. Well, listen, you are a very accomplished physician, and I don't know what would take you from that incredible work that you do as a pediatric neurosurgeon to politics, but maybe you can tell me what you put on your cereal the morning that you decided to do this.
A lot of people have asked me if I went off my medication or something.
What drew you to do this?
Oh, you know, I get asked that a lot. The first question that most people ask me is, why are you doing it? And when I was looking at this race and talking about it with my family, you know, I have 4 teenagers, and one of my sons said, Mom, he said, why would you leave a job that you trained until you're 35 years old to do, and that everybody loves you, to take a job where people say all sorts of mean things about you? And,
yeah.
And I told him, you know, I kind of always remember a little brain tumor patient that I took care of a few years ago, a teenager, and he came back to me afterwards and gave me a thank you note. And in that card, it said, if we're not here to make life better for one another, then what's the point? And I've always, you know, I know it might sound kind of hokey, but that's the way I've always lived my life. I've always tried to do what I could to take care of other people and make things better. And being a doctor and being a physician, we really do look at things in a different way. We're problem solvers. And I think right now, at this time in the country, that's something that we really need, is someone that can get in there and look at all sides of an issue and try to solve the problems.
Well, as a physician, as you know, probably the most heated discussion today is Obamacare. Was that a factor for you to get involved in this?
Well, it was just another reason to do it. You know, I overall care a lot about the direction of our country. And when you think about the generations before us and what they've done to build a country like we have, where everyone has the opportunity to achieve the American dream, where they can start from anywhere and be what they want to be through hard work and motivation and a little bit of luck and support from each other. You know, that's the country that we live in. And I worry because I see a change in that, more and more government takeover of every single aspect of our life. And I don't believe that that's going to provide the sorts of opportunity that I want for my children. I want them to be able to be anything they want to be, just the way that things were when we were growing up. I mean, I used to work at McDonald's, and now I'm a pediatric neurosurgeon. I mean, you can go anywhere in this country.
We have a lot of issues, as you know, Doctor, that are out there. I mean, I don't know what our foreign policy is.
I don't think anybody knows what our
I don't think anybody knows what our foreign policy is.
I'm not sure we have a foreign policy.
Well, I don't think we do. Our deficit's out of control. Obamacare is a mess. Cover Oregon's a mess. And I realize you would be one vote. But how would you prioritize the issues? I mean, I know they're all important, but have you actually prioritized them in your thinking?
I think, of course, the most important thing right now are jobs in the economy, and then everything falls from that. First of all, we've got to get our economy growing. There's so much money and potential that's on the sidelines because of all the uncertainty of what's going on. Businesses don't know whether to take the risk and invest in their companies or whether to just kind of hunker down and wait. I mean, and we've got, a huge effect on jobs and economy. A huge drag is the healthcare law. And look at what's happening with that. It keeps changing. The president keeps delaying or changing parts of this law independently. So it makes it very difficult to plan. And, business owners are all about adding and subtracting and doing the math. And if you don't know what's going out or what's coming in, it makes it impossible to grow your business.
Wow. All right, let's take a look at a couple of the issues. First of all, the raising of the debt ceiling. How would you handle that?
I think it's very important that we try to get this budget under control. We just cannot keep spending money that we don't have. And there are so many areas where there's duplication. For example, in job training programs, I believe there's about 47 of these different job training programs out there. And a lot of them are duplicative, and we have no idea which ones work, which ones don't. I mean, there's so much waste in the government that if we could just start going through item by item and getting rid of things that don't benefit us, we'd be able to save money and move things ahead. I believe it's more a spending problem than a revenue problem.
Okay. Where are you with education?
Well, I believe that best education comes from when it's derived from the local community, from our local state and community teachers, our parents, when parents are involved. I don't believe we need a top-down federal government approach to that. Once you start having federal government involved in what we teach our children, every community is different and children learn differently. So we need that flexibility from community to community.
As you know, this administration has cut defense spending in a very critical time in U.S. history and the vulnerability of us today. Can we respond? What's your thinking on that?
I'm very concerned about that. I think at this point in time, as we'd mentioned earlier, nobody really knows what our foreign policy is. Our friends aren't confident that we have their back. They're not confident that we're going to be there. And our enemies no longer fear us. I mean, we'll, go out there and draw red lines, but when these lines are crossed, nothing happens. And so, and when we start to cut back on our military, I think that also sends a signal to those that count on us and rely on us that, we may not be there if they need us, if we're not operating from a position of strength. And I think when we leave a vacuum, if we leave a vacuum there of leadership, then it's going to be filled by someone who is less benevolent than we are. I mean, we're seeing that happen now.
All right. And thanks for these quick answers, because I want to take advantage of having you for the short period of time. Immigration, big issue. It doesn't look like the U.S. House of Representatives is going to kick it forward this go-around, primarily because of the election cycle. What's your take on the immigration issue in this country?
Well, I really believe that this is a national security issue. It's very important for us to know who is here, just for national security reasons. And of course, the first thing we have to do is secure our borders so that we can stabilize the situation. We'll hear that, some reports say our borders are 95% secure. Others will say that, they're porous. We really have no idea of what the situation is with our borders. So first of all, we have to do that. Second of all, I don't really support amnesty. I believe that that is really unfair to those who made an effort to come here legally. And it's not fair to those people who have followed the law. And I don't think we should be rewarding people that break the law. We have a lot of immigration laws that we're not enforcing that should be enforced. But I also don't think it's practical to try to round up everybody and send them back. I think we do have to find a way to find out who's here and give them some sort of legal status where they can work in this country with us, knowing who is here. Whether it's a temporary work visa for some of our seasonal workers that are so important for our agriculture industry, or whether it's green cards, visas, high-tech visas, whatever. But I think we've got to know who's here.
All right. I'm going to run out of time, but let me ask you quickly on some of the big three social issues. You got where would you be with abortion, where would you be with gun control, and where would you be on traditional marriages?
Want me to hit all three?
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, with the life argument, I was raised in Tennessee. I grew up in the South. I'm a Catholic and still a very strong Catholic. And I've dedicated my life to taking care of little babies and infants and children. I'm a pediatric neurosurgeon. And, and I've held those little 23-week-old babies in my hand. You can actually hold those babies in your hand, and I operate on their brains. They're just a little bit bigger than a walnut on those little babies. And I think those of us that are pro-life, we need to extend a culture of life in society. We need to let people know that if you find yourself with an unwanted pregnancy, that there are options other than terminating that baby. We need to provide prenatal care. We need to encourage adoption. And I counsel, this is not a hypothetical situation for me. I counsel moms all the time with babies that have congenital anomalies. But, and I never recommend termination of a pregnancy, but I do counsel the families, and this is a personal decision for them. And in this country, this is a personal decision between a woman and her faith, a woman and her family, a woman and her doctor, not a woman in the federal government.
Okay. Guns?
I'm a proud supporter of the Second Amendment. I do believe that we already have adequate laws on the books. We just need to enforce those laws. And I wouldn't favor any new laws that are going to restrict our law-abiding citizens. I also think we have to be very careful about gradual erosion of our gun rights as well, because that's the way things tend to happen, is piecemeal, one thing after a time. We have to be very careful about that. I also do not support the UN Small Arms Treaty.
All right, and defense of marriage.
I believe that this is a personal freedom issue. We are Republicans, and we believe that the government should not be micromanaging our lives. And I believe that in this situation as well. This is a personal decision for people. I don't think the federal government should be involved in the marriage business. I think we should respect each other's personal rights. And in doing so, I also don't think that we should force religious groups or other groups to perform ceremonies that they don't believe in.
All right. Any last minute thoughts? And again, let people know where they can go and support your campaign.
Well, I'm delighted to have the opportunity to talk to your viewers. And I think that together, the Republicans are a big tent party. And I think, we may not agree on every single issue, but I think we agree on the big issues that we've got to pull each other together and turn this country back around. And my website is monicafororegon.com. I'm happy to hear from any of your viewers. And if anyone has any questions that we didn't cover, I would love for them to go to the website and take a look. And I would very much appreciate their support and their vote.
All right. Well, Dr. Wehby, thank you. Thanks for what you're doing. And thanks for stepping out of your comfort zone and taking this one on.
Thank you for having me. This is my first Skype interview.
You did great. You look wonderful. All right. We'll talk again soon.
I hope the sun's shining down there.
Hey, well, there you are. And Senator, well, she wants to be U.S. Senator, and she is now Dr. Monica Wehby, and you can go to her website. Coming up next, we're going to continue on with something else that is almost equally as controversial: global warming versus climate change. What side of the argument are you on? You'd be surprised who you find yourself with these days. John Mittendorf's in the house, coming up next.